Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Prime Minister Mottley had the occasion to defend stoutly her decision to establish safe zones in Barbados to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Thursday, 14th October 2021. Details when we return.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Barbados' Prime Minister took to the airwaves to defend her idea to return the country to some form of normalcy by establishing safe zones. This she found necessary to do because of the criticisms leveled against the move by the leader of the opposition. More in this Barbados Today news item.
Speaking on down to brass tacks, Mottley insisted that now is not the time to politicize the fight against the deadly virus.
We have seen this divide also in the United States
Correct.
of America.
Across,
and this is what has to stop, because this is not the Barbados that I know. I keep making the point that when we decided to do big things and great things in the past, this is a country where government and opposition have worked together. I can give you the example of David Thompson and the Caribbean Court of Justice, because Owen Arthur sent me to speak to Thompson first before he then settled with David Thompson. Even on matters in the last government, we also agreed in the last government when they first came, when Elizabeth Thompson went as an Assistant Secretary General of the UN, or I could go before that, when Sir George Allen was going to things, Branford Tate and Liz Thompson and Owen Arthur worked together. On this matter, I would like to believe that even with the appointment of the President, that the Leader of the Opposition and I have agreed that we can rise above partisanship for that. But I also feel that we need to rise above partisanship for the creation of safety in COVID in this country.
She also stood by government's plan to roll out safe zones, rebutting the claim that the initiative is a backdoor approach to mandatory vaccination.
There can't be no backdoor approach to a jab. You're either getting a jab or you're not. So let's be very clear about that. And the principle of not going for mandating jabs is because I accept that people should have agency over their body wherever possible. Okay? And that agency, as an adult, we're talking about. As an adult, that agency comes by being able to say yes or no to the jab. If you say no to the jab, then you have to tell me how else you are going to make yourself safe if you want to work with persons who are vulnerable or you want to do certain jobs. And with respect to the frontline workers, they're working 24/7. And it can't be fair for us to be fighting literally so fundamental an issue, when in truth and in fact, everyone knows that the country wants safety. Now, the safety may not come on the same road, but you and I can both go to Bridgetown from where both of us live without using the same road. But we still end up at the same destination.
Meanwhile, in the House of Assembly, government has given the assurance to all Barbadians that it is working to root out corruption at all levels.
Attorney General Dale Marshall made the announcement as he presented the Prevention of Corruption Bill 2021 in the House this morning.
I want to assure Barbadians that notwithstanding that they may not have seen any charges brought against anybody, please be aware that that process is continuing. There are a number of investigations of corruption that have taken place in Barbados since we became the government, and they continue. We brought in a team of high-powered specialists very well regarded in the field, coming from as far as Australia, Turks and Caicos, and other places, in 2019 to begin the process of examining the state of affairs at a number of our statutory bodies. And I've spoken about it in Parliament before.
Marshall also promised that a Strengthened Integrity in Public Life bill will come before the House for debate shortly.
The Integrity in Public Life bill, and I can say to the Chamber that I expect to be able to lay that new bill in this Chamber before the end of October. It is unfortunate that it got defeated in the Senate, in the other place, but that is what it is. We've gone back to the drawing board, and the two areas that the members of the other place specifically said we wanted addressed, one area was to do with judges, and the other one slips my mind specifically, but we've gone now and we've addressed those issues, and that bill will be laid in Parliament to come back to this House. I pray for its passage in the Senate when it gets to that.
In response, opposition leader Joseph Atherley accused government of simply marking time until the next election. He said the Mottley administration had failed to deliver on its campaign promise to root out corruption.
When the other parties in office, we rail against that issue. When we come, it's all hunky-dory. We are doing our best, we're investigating, and we're bringing legislation, and we will address that 3.5 years. Now you have to face the people who voted for us. Hear me? On the basis of the fact that we promised to address these things, and we failed to address them with all kinds of excuses to which we make recourse. Couldn't get a team from here, and couldn't get a team from there. And COVID shut this down, and COVID shut that down. And this bill came here, and it was defeated in the other bill. All kinds of excuses. Well, the country dies. Well, the country is being raped. This is stupid. Well, the average Barbadian out there constitutes a populace that fall prey and victim to these people's greed.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
With the other major ethnic groups in Trinidad and Tobago having special days to commemorate their presence, the First Peoples say it is only right that they too be granted a national holiday. More in this report from TTT.
And I want to make a call, a public call to the Prime Minister to reconsider a day of recognition to a national public holiday for First Peoples.
Chief of the Santa Rosa First Peoples community, Ricardo Barath Hernandez, said more action is needed to advance the cause of indigenous people in Trinidad and Tobago. In 2017, a one-off holiday was granted on October 13th, and on the heels of U.S. President Joe Biden's proclamation that October 11th is Indigenous Peoples Day, Mr. Hernandez reissued the call for an annual holiday locally. Mr. Hernandez said First People should be considered a unique sector of the population who can trace their roots to those who existed before the arrival of Christopher Columbus in 1492.
We seek to be in the circle where every creed and race find an equal place.
The main opposition Free National Movement in the Bahamas, the FNM, will hold a one-day convention on November 27th to elect a new leader following the party's trouncing at the September 16th general elections. The party suffered a 32-7 defeat by the Progressive Liberal Party. FNM Chairman Carl Colmer said that the party's Central Council agreed to holding the convention amid concerns that some members were of the opinion that the leadership contest should take place in December. Former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who led the party into the last general election, has not indicated if he would stand for re-election, even as he was sworn in as opposition leader. Colmer said he would not speculate on whether Minnis would be nominated for the post. The United States President Joe Biden signed into law the Havana Act that would compensate Central Intelligence Agency CIA officers, Department of State diplomats, and other U.S. federal officials who have sustained mysterious traumatic neurological injuries that the intelligence community is yet to figure out. In signing the Havana Act on Friday, Biden authorizes U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and the CIA Director William Burns to render financial aid to U.S. government employees who have sustained brain injuries. The act is named for what has been referred to as Havana Syndrome, a series of inexplicable injuries whose victims were first identified 5 years ago at the United States Embassy in Havana, Cuba. He said that addressing these incidents has been a top priority for his administration. Without going into details, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told a press briefing at the White House on Friday that the Biden administration takes every reported incident seriously.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.